Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. Welcome to another What Else is Going On, aka We Go podcast YouTube video. I'm your girl, your host, Taria. So there's a whole lot of stuff that I want to talk to y'all about. DDG and Hallie, day two of Cassie's testimony, basketball wives review, all of that stuff. I got my notes for my review. We're gonna have to speed through the first episode one because Chad didn't take no notes on that one. But I wanted to come down and talk to y'all about two specific things in this video. So, those of y'all that have been with me, y'all know that I do rideshare gig work. For those of you that don't know, I do rideshare gig work. Spend a lot of time in the car. So, I actually listened to Nene and Tamar's interview twice today because I was literally driving. So I wanted to go over that with y'all. I took some notes. I was able to take some notes on it, but there are also a couple of clips I want to play so you could hear how it came out because sometimes hearing it and seeing it, you get the intentionality of the statements, right? But first, before we go there, I want to get into Basketball Wives. So I'm going to do the review for Basketball Wives after this for sure. But I wanted to talk about some online things going on. So, if you're watching Basketball Wives, you already know what I'm about to tell you. And if you don't, I'm about to tell you. Jennifer and Evelyn are at it again. Again. It's the same old song. Like they're at it again. This time, Evelyn is talking about Jen's now husband, but according to the episode last night, Evelyn said there was no marriage certificate. But anyway, talking about Jen's husband being a scammer. She has a lot of things to say. She said that Carl Crawford's cousin paid $1,500, I guess, to like become a part of the investment group. And she said that was a scam. I have some things to say about that. I hope I don't forget to touch on them in my recap of that episode one of this new season. But anyway, Evelyn has a lot to say about Jen and Jen's life. So Jen and her man Christian had a lot to say about, well, I'll say Jen had a lot to say about Evelyn, and even Brooke Bailey chimed in. So first, let's get into what Jen had to say. This is coming from Jen and Christian's YouTube channel, okay? Jen and CG, Christian Gold, recap Basketball Wives. I'm only going to play a small portion that I want y'all to hear.
People don't want to talk about what's going on in their house. I wonder why, right? So every season, you have last season, Evelyn was so focused on Jackie and investigating Jackie and what the hell she had going on, which did not concern her. So now this season, you're so investigated in Jennifer, what Jennifer has going on. Now you're investigating my husband. Let's just say all of it was true. What does it do for you? How does it affect your bottom line? And what is the point? The point is what? Yeah. You're still going to continue to live your life. It doesn't affect you. So why are you so invested? My thing is like, shit that don't involve me, leave me out the group chat. Like, I actually don't want to know. I will chime in if you ask me your opinion. Other than that, it's cool. But I feel like, you know what? It might be Evelyn really has something against Black women. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there because I feel like every season she is trying to go in on a Black woman. And that's just real.
Hey, Armani, can you go downstairs?
Now, I'm going to get back to it, but I do think that's interesting considering she has been friends with Evelyn for all these years. Let me go ahead and let them finish.
Real quick and grab something for me. It's in a bag. No. We keep it real. We keep it transparent over here.
I live
downstairs in the media room. When you walk in,
you trying to bring a Black woman down. You trying to bring a Black man down. Like, cut it out.
So real quick, Armani's coming with the real receipt. Because I'm gonna give you one more chance. And I don't really care about comments like that. Of course, you guys see me on Instagram. You go through my page, like I laugh at y'all's comments.
Anyway, so that comment was just about him being a scammer, I believe in all of that. And he went, I believe he had someone go and get his phone, I think, and showed the text messages that were shown in the episode. I'm saying last night, I think it was Monday night, right? But I thought it was really interesting, Jen and her statement. Listen, do I feel like Jen may be walking and have walked into this marriage eyes wide, not shut, eyes wide open, and just not caring? If I don't know about it, I'm don't have to be accountable to any of it. That's how some people think. If I don't know about it, then I don't have to be accountable to what's really going on, right? But so do I think that she's choosing to not really look into all these things and listen to whatever Kristen is telling her? I absolutely do. However, I do see what she's saying as far as Evelyn. And let's be clear. Yes, we know that for these shows, they have to have stories and conflict and resolution. But it is sometimes, I wish Evelyn would just say, I don't like her. I don't like her. And that's why I'm doing all this investigative. Stop putting it behind the guise of I care about her and I don't want her to be scammed again. Because I really don't think that's what it is. I think Evelyn knows they got to make TV and she doesn't want to come off so bad, especially after last season when people were like, girl, you're corny with this information about Jackie being an alleged prostitute or getting arrested and convicted of, nobody cared about that. They were like, you're just doing all this digging. Now, I feel like she thought, well, I got to come off like I really care about her. And it's interesting that that's the thing that bonded her and Brandy, Jennifer's situation. When last year, when Brandy was speaking about her concerns about it moving fast, you were pissed off and went and told Jen. But now that's the thing that bonded y'all. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I'm just saying, But anyway, so I get what Jennifer is saying. And if it's all true, then what? Are you going to be there to pick up the pieces? Are you going to be there? What? You're going to be, I told you so. Do your millions of interviews and keep it moving, keep living your life. The other thing that Jen said about Evelyn may not like a black woman, you have known this woman for 20 plus years, because all the 20 plus years y'all haven't been friends, but you were friends for a good part of them. You said you and Jen got baptized. You and Evelyn were baptized together. Jen said that. They got baptized together. That's how close they were. You're not just getting baptized with someone that you're not close with. I was going to say, let me see. I wanted to say, I remember hearing Jen say that. Hold on a second. Because I forgot. I think she was on a podcast. I meant. As a matter of fact, okay, her husband, Eric, Jennifer's ex, the basketball player, said he witnessed them getting baptized together. But hold on, give me 1 second. Because I wanted to tell you exactly what she said. She said, yeah, and Evelyn was a bridesmaid. Funny because we're getting the Nene next. In Jennifer's 2007 wedding to Eric, they were also baptized together. So they were very, very, very close. And now all of a sudden you're like, well, maybe Evelyn doesn't like black women. Now all of a sudden, either you had that thought after being around her for a little bit, because it don't take long to pick up on that. So you had the thought before and just pushed it down and maybe pushed it to the back of your mind. Like, Or you're saying it because that's what the internet has said about Evelyn. Either way is an issue for me, because if you really believe that, then I'm gonna need you to explain why, when you started thinking that, and why all these years later now you're saying something, or you're just seeing it. I don't know. I've like Jen, you may be thinking, oh, I'm just gonna say what the internet is saying, but girl, you're gonna be drugged too, because you were very close to her. But Brooke Bailey hopped into the comments. She said, I really hate this. She commented, and then she said, I hear your concerns, and I want to be clear this isn't about hate or racism. Accusations like that are serious, and they shouldn't be used to deflect from real issues that deserve honest conversation. I stand for respect across all communities, including Black women. The entire cast is Black, besides Evelyn Lozada. And if there's a specific issue to address, let's talk about it directly and constructively. Unity means listening and being accountable, not tearing each other down. You know that production started this with the hot mic moment on the last reunion. You decided to carry it out, and in my opinion, you're allowing people to put the battery in your back to push a narrative that you know isn't true. I'm disappointed. This is sad at Jennifer Williams. You were once a concerned friend to Ev and voicing your opinion about her relationship without production pushing the narrative. I guess she's talking about with Evelyn and Ocho Cinco wanted me. You know this woman is not racist. The world knows why she was concerned about you, and those aren't false allegations. Stop this madness. Ciao. Somebody said Evelyn is a lot of things, but having a problem towards Black women is not one of them. Oof. Somebody said she for sure hates Black women. And then somebody else said, don't forget calling Cece Ling Ling, which she did. She called her Ling Ling. Remember Cece? Malaysia. She was married to Malaysia's cousin. What's his name? Byron? Or whatever. That was in the NBA. Child. This was crazy. So some people are saying Brooke is right, 1,000% right. Evelyn isn't racist. Others are saying she actually is. Somebody said Evelyn has been very problematic towards a black women for decades, but Jennifer is also complicit because she's been friends with her the whole time. Baby, I agree with that. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Those are serious issues. And if you truly felt that way, it's coming off like you just throwing it out like, because you upset. And that's what the internet has said about her. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. On to Lanithia Leaks. So let's get into some things. I'm going to get into some of the notes I took before we get into the clip. So Nene and Tamar are neighbors. They live in the same building. Nene said that she can hear Tamar singing sometimes. She said she'll be laying in her bed like, what is going on? I can hear Tamar singing. So Tamar said Nene is not neighborly. She don't feel like she can go over there and ask for sugar or vodka. She said the one time she called, she said she could see Nene's bar. So I guess she could probably look out a window and it may look into, or maybe off her deck or something. I'm just assuming, but she said she could see into Nene's bar. She could see Nene's bar. So she knew Nene had liquor and she needed some. She didn't have any alcohol. And she said she called Nene. Nene was like, I'm on my way out. I got to go. But they are very, 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 very close. They've been close for a while. Nene asked Tamar, are you following me back on social media? She said, because Tamar will follow you. I don't know. And she said, yeah, just because I unfollow you doesn't mean that we've fallen out. When I unfollow people, sometimes they just get on my nerves or something else, but they're fine, child. And she said she back following her. So she talked about, let's get into the Braxtons. So, because they had a lot going on, whatever. They talked about the Braxtons. She said her and Vince pitched the show. They didn't know what they were doing. They were taking meetings. They pitched it 5 times. And the production companies wanted them to shoot sizzle reels for it. Even Bravo. And Bravo picked, and they picked it up. But all her sisters were not on the same page. Bravo wanted them to shoot either Bravo. Yeah. Bravo wanted to pick it up. So Nene was like, what you mean? Like everybody wasn't on the same page because Nene said all the housewives have to agree to a certain thing. So was it like everybody had to agree? And Tamar said, yeah, Nene was basically like, well, surely they all wanted to be on TV. They wanted to do the show, right? And Tamar was like, let's just say different people's expectations different people had different expectations. She said it didn't become real to them. Like basically, I don't think they were really treating it like it was a real thing, like it was going to be a real show. She said it didn't become real to them until the third network approached them. Because so when Bravo wanted them, they couldn't get the contract together because people weren't agreeing. But it didn't become real to them until the third network approached them. She said her and Vince didn't do favored nations because that's what Nene asked. And I meant to look it up to tell y'all what favored nations is. Because that's what Nene said. Did y'all do favored nations? And favored nations is an industry term, which means that you are getting equal contractual treatment to others on the project. So equal billing, equal accommodations, and any other contractual provision. So equal across the board. So Nene was like, did all of y'all cast get favored nations? She said no. She said they didn't do favorite nations because her and Brent's weren't thinking about money. They already had money. Because Nene talks about the money they had, the house they had, how Greg and Vince became really good friends outside of Tamar and Nene. They were really good friends. And Nene was saying how Vince always did it up. So she said Tamar was living that life. So Tamar was like, yeah, we didn't do favorite nations. We weren't thinking about money. We already had money. She said that I just wanted to tell the story. And then she said, this is why it's so important to get the right partner. Listen, it is so important to get the right partner because I just told Vince my vision and he ran with it. I said, girl, I know that's right until he started biting fingers, according to Miss E. But I digress. Nonetheless, at that time, he was the right partner for her. So Nene asked her if her and Vince had a say on the show, even though they were producers. She said they didn't at first. They didn't know what they were doing, and the network knew that and took advantage of that. And basically, they were all in a slave contract. She said, so basically, we didn't sell the show to them, I guess, when they were on WeTV. She said, we gave it away. We gave it to the network. But I recently got my show back, which is why she's now doing. Because remember, she was like, she would never do it again, but they made it right. She said back then with her and Vince, they weren't even thinking about money when they realized what the network was doing to them. And she didn't go into what. She said, because I don't really want to talk bad about it when she's back in business with them, when they made it right from the first time. She said, but we just wanted them to change some paperwork and they wouldn't even do that. But they've made it right. And she said she got her show back. So I'm guessing she really is in the producer's seat when it comes to this. So, yeah, so she is excited about that. So then we get to talking about the real honey. And this is one of the clips that I want y'all to see. I had taken it in my notes to show y'all, but I'd rather y'all see it. Hold on.
It was, I'm sure it was Tamar and the other girls, but I was asked to be one of the first girls when the show first originally started. I had the contract, and I ended up not doing the real, and they ended up casting Money Love. Y'all know y'all would have liked me first. I'm just kidding. I was on Real Housewives of Atlanta, so I just did not do the real. But Tamar ultimately did the real, and I remember so well talking.
I wish they would have told me.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember talking to Tamar. I remember talking to you, and you said this to me, like they had casted all of you guys, and you were like, we're all going out to dinner. I believe all y'all went to like Mr. Chow.
Because Vince.
Yeah, y'all all went together to Mr. Chow to kind of like, just make sure that you guys were friends and sisters, and you guys had the same vision and all that. You produced on there as well.
I did.
Wow,
Tamar. And creating the
I was asked to be on the Real. And this was it work.
So we was at the Beverly Hills Hotel. That's Vince's other place.
Yeah.
And I had a meeting with Telepictures.
Nice.
And they wanted to explore doing the Tamar Braxton talk show.
Okay.
And that's something, it's still a big dream of mine, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I had the Braxtons, I had Tamar and Vince, I had Love and War, and that was gone crazy, right? And they was like, well, you're gonna have to be here every day. And Vince was like, absolutely not. So let's build a show where there's people around her, so if she's out, that the show can carry on.
Right.
And we went from there, and we we did, we had a lot of, what's the name of it? Tests.
Yeah,
we had 2 days. I was big and pregnant too. Where people would come in and out and do test shoots with me. And I met with Sally Ann. So we was at the Beverly Hills Hotel. You know, that's been.
So what she went on to say was that she met with a woman named Sally Ann, I guess, who does that. And she said her and Sally Ann bounced off ideas. Sally Ann came up with the name The Real. They had talked about a name for weeks. Nene said, so does that, because the show was formed around you, basically, did you have a hand in casting? And Tamar said, absolutely, she did. She cast Tamara Maury Housley, and she cast Adrienne Bailon. She said, and the Sally woman casted Jenny, and then she said, and Big Bad Cadillac. I was like, oh, okay. She also went on to talk about how her issue with Lonnie, because Nene was like, well, what about, do you want to, like, would you fix it? Would you sit down with her? And she was like, for what? I know for a fact that Lonnie went and had meetings behind my back saying, why isn't she here? Why is she gone? Like saying all this stuff made it hard for me. She said Lonnie used to come over to my, and Nene was like, well, I've seen Lonnie at your home. Vince had this big party for Tamar one year and flew people in, and Greg and Nene were one of them. And so Nene was like, I've seen Lonnie at your home. And Tamar said, yeah, Lonnie would come over, was welcome into my home. She would play with Logan, then go on the Breakfast Club and say something totally different. So Lonnie was part of the reason that, this is where it gets tricky to me. Lonnie was, I guess, because I remember when Tamar was let go from The Real, she did blame Lonnie. Then it was like taken back or something like that. But it did come out like that. And it's confusing to me if the show was centered around you. But then again, I think of Kate Chastain with the Bravo chat room. She came to the network with that idea, and she ended up being ousted. And Portia was listed as like the executive producer, like in all of that. So, and I know that for a fact because Kate Chastain told me that on this podcast. But anyway, so, but I still do wonder, like, how was it presented to her, Tamar? Like, you're gone. And can you imagine if this is true, a show that you pitched, you put together, created around you? Let's think about Melody Holt from Love and Marriage Huntsville. People say she should just leave the show. She's not happy with it. And while I get, it's like, please, if you're not happy being here, don't make everyone around you miserable. At the same time, if it was my baby and something that I created, I don't know that I'd want to walk away either. So it's interesting to hear that in detail, how Tamar is saying the show was created around her. She said, thankfully, she's back really good friends with Tamara, and she's really good friends with Adrienne and with Adrienne's husband. She says she hasn't really seen Jeannie. She wants to, and then she has no interest in speaking to Lonnie. Nene also said that she did Ladies Night Out. It was a comedy. Y'all remember that? Like a comedy special with Lonnie. And Tamar said, oh, did she have on her kitten heels? Girl. And Nene was like, and so then Tamar said, did she go last? She wanted to go last, didn't she? Nene said, well, I believe she closed out the show. And she said, yeah, it figures. Child, I don't know. But let's get into something else that was said. Nene says, the people say you fall out with your friends. And Tamar was like, why do people say I fall out with my friends? Nene said, I don't know. That's what they say. And Tamar said, no, my sisters said that. She asked her about Tiny. She said, have you fallen out with Tiny? She said her and Tiny had like a disagreement, but they're back. You know, they've been friends since Tamar was young, I believe. And Tamar is Eris's godmother, and Tiny is Logan's godmother. She said they're back friends. Then I'm sure you've all seen the clip, but Nene asked her about this particular person. Let's go.
Okay.
Don't have an issue with you. We're Candy, if you're watching, and we know you're watching. The thing is this: we don't have an issue with you. We're not jealous of you. We actually celebrate your success. No, seriously. But you got to be a better person. And the reason why you got to be a better person is because it's not fair to the people who have been following our careers, knowing that you are doing things behind the scenes, knowing that you are lying on people.
Now, behind
No,
the scenes,
no,
honey.
it's not fair. It's not fair. Because we like you, we cheerlead for you, y'all got black love, you know, we're happy for you. It has nothing to do with that. But for you to deliberately use the public's opinion to manipulate them into thinking that people are really coming after you when we're not, that's not right. And for you to sit back and, because you have the public's opinion, because it's so easy, because of the character you have created on Housewives and things like that, to fall into that, that's not fair. Because you know I didn't do nothing to you. I apologized to that girl in that conversation 15 times.
I would love to sit down with Kandi.
Well, I'm not sitting down with her until she tells the people.
I would love to sit down with Kandi.
I'm not, because it's
I
not
said
fair.
I would love to sit down.
Oh, that's
with
great.
Kandi.
I'm not sitting down until she says, hey, party people, I lied. And now we can sit down. Because I want to know why.
And Kandi, what's your problem?
Kandi, if you're watching it.
Ooh, child. She said, Kandi, if you're watching, and I know you are, I said, my God, today. Now, I want to ask y'all this. Nene has mentioned Kandi on what? 2 out of her 4 shows? Or 3 out of her 4 shows? Right? If a person is in the news cycle, you talk about them, right? I was trying to look at it like that. Well, if a person is like when whether it's Kenya, whether it's Portia, whether it's Shamia, whether it's Child, DDG and Halle, whether it's Mariah Carey, whoever is in the news cycle, when you are doing stuff like this, you talk about them and you want to have a conversation, right? It just seems like there's like, they always, like her guests or Nene herself will find a reason to bring Kandi up. And I don't know, do they even realize they're doing it? And then I know that these shows are taped. There were a couple of them that were like taped back to back to back. And I don't know if it was the same day, but it was back to back to back. And you could tell because when she brings on the person talking about the celebrity news and gossip, it's old a little bit because they taped it so long ago. And then also, I was watching someone before talking about how they were kind of sort of working with her. I think they had been brought on maybe to do a segment, and that was weeks ago. So I think if she's doing, the only thing I can think of is if Nene's doing this in a back to back to back frame. Let's say she filmed 2 shows a day. She's got a lot of them in a can. I think Michelle A.T. Elian had said that Nene had a lot of them in the can. And, you know, we know she's been on the show twice, right? That would explain why some of the content may be like, oh, well, you know, the news cycles fast, so there's new news. But that may also be the reason why maybe she don't realize just how much she's bringing Kandi up, because they're doing this back to back to back. And she's forgetting, this is going to go out over the span of weeks. So now every week is looking like I'm talking about Kandi. I don't know. But it's definitely looking like you're talking about Kandi every week. That's what it's looking like. Now, she said, I want to sit down with Kandi. Remember when Kandi was doing Speak On It with that season of Atlanta, and Kandi invited everyone to come on. And not all of them said yes, even the ladies that she wasn't necessarily getting along with, or they weren't getting along with her. I wonder if Kandi will eventually be a guest on this show. What y'all think? I was like, Lord have mercy. It was definitely a lot. I guess we'll see. That would be something, huh? Because it seemed like for whatever reason, Nene and Kandi could just never click. You better back up before I get to blowing up on you. Remember when Kandi and Nene went off? I like when they would get along and have fun, when Nene was twirling in Candy's room. Was that when they were in Antigua, or was that somewhere else? I can't remember. But I really want to know what it is. Some people say that it was Nene felt a jealousy because maybe then because of the way the network looked at Kandi, and this was the house that she built. Atlanta was the house that she built, and now you have Kandi coming in second season, and she's looked at like that. I don't know. What do y'all think it could be? Either way, you're bringing up Kandi every episode almost. At the end, Tamar says she was coming back on the show to be matched by Nene because Nene is a great matchmaker. She's the best matchmaker. So Nene said, well, we are going to have a segment on the show called Take the Rose or Take the Road. So that'll be an interesting segment. So, I mean, I get the interview was entertaining. It was funny. There was definitely a whole lot of shade thrown at some people. But other than that, if y'all haven't, go check it out. If you're looking for something to listen to while you're in the shower, while you're cooking, and not really that you have to watch, check it out. But y'all let me know what y'all think about Kandi asking. I mean, do y'all think Nene should not have asked Tamar about the Kandi beef when we all know that she has Tamar has one with Kandi, or should she have left it alone? Some people are saying it's giving obsessed. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all let me know what y'all think about what Tamar said about the Real and Lonnie. Let me know what y'all think about what Jennifer had to say about Evelyn. Not wanting to talk about what's going on in her own life and maybe not liking Black women, and Brooke Bailey's comments. I will talk to y'all later. I love y'all so much. Child, I'm about to tear this Subway sandwich up. See ya.